G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to DCS World with Mags, and welcome back aboard the F-14B TOMCAT by Heatblur Simulations. Now in the last F-14 video I asked you guys to tell me what you wanted to see in future F-14 videos on the channel, and you came up with a wide selection of ideas. I've picked 5 of them to cover, and in today's video we'll be covering the first of these, a closer look at what the AIM-54 Phoenix missile can do. Now for the most part people only think of the AIM-54 Phoenix as a long-range missile, and for the most part this is correct. However, there is some interesting things you can do with it, and I'll be showing you a couple of these things today, but first we need to go and find some targets. And wouldn't you know it, the Soviet Union has decided that they want a whole bunch of their Tu-95 Bear bombers decommissioned from service, and I'm more than happy to help out with that. Now in this first attack we'll be using the AIM-54C. Almost identical to the standard Phoenix in terms of performance, the major difference with the AIM-54C is that it features a smokeless rocket motor. That is to say that it leaves no visible smoke trail on activation. We'll also be demonstrating the ACM modes for the Phoenix. With the ACM mode flap on the left hand side of the pilot's weapons control panel flipped up, the Phoenix is decoupled from the Tomcat's radar and becomes a true Fox 3 active radar homing missile. And it's mad dog off the rail. Now there are some limitations to using the ACM mode. Due to the fact that the Phoenix is completely disconnected from the Tomcat's massive AN/AWG-9 radar in this mode, it is reliant only on its own internal radar. In an approach from the target 6 o'clock, as we are here, you need to be relatively close to the target for the missiles to acquire. I'm running this attack at around 10 nautical miles on release. However, as those of you who are thinking about this setup may have already realised, with the Phoenix completely decoupled from the radar, well, there is no need to actually have the radar on at all. With the radar silent, as it is in this attack, the Tomcat will not show up on the target's RWR at all. So, did I mention we're firing smokeless AIM-54s that give absolutely no visual indication to the fact that they've been fired? Yeah, it's time to stealth cat. Now this is not to say that the target aircraft will get no indication of an attack. Once the AIM-54s have launched and acquired targets, the target's RWR will most certainly be giving them all sorts of wonderful warning beeps, but the difference here is that they won't be warnings from a hostile aircraft's radar. They'll be warnings generated from a hostile missile that has already launched, already fired its engines and accelerated, has already acquired them as a target, and is already closing range. I did a few timing tests on this and personally found that at best a target aircraft will have around 16 seconds to react before impact when the Phoenix is fired from maximum range in ACM mode, but that warning time could get as low as 6 seconds if the Tomcat could get close enough before letting the Phoenix loose. Now this of course is not exactly something that the ACM mode was originally intended for. The whole point of this mode is to allow the AIM-54 to be fired after a merge with the target at close range as a Fox 3 missile in BFM, but it's an interesting little trick nonetheless. There are also other restrictions of course. Since the missiles are fired Mad Dog, the F-14 has no way of assigning them targets. The missiles will acquire and kill the first thing that they come across, which does mean, in a situation like this, it is possible for 2 or more missiles to acquire and hit the same target. In the case of this launch, missiles 1 and 2 both found the same target while the rest found their own, giving this attack a 5 out of 6 hit rate. This, however, is not a major issue. I still have 2 Sidewinders on board, which are more than enough to deal with the Tu-95, so I let them loose too, and that's the end of the formation. Now, activating ACM mode does change one more thing about the Phoenix that is actually rather important to the next attack. In ACM mode, the Phoenix's launch time, which is 3 seconds as standard between trigger pull and missile release, is reduced down to just 1 second. This means that in this mode you can release all 6 missiles within just 6 seconds into a target group. So if you can manage to slip behind a group of targets close enough together without being detected, you could salvo fire all 6 missiles before breaking off and exiting the area while they're still trying to work out what the hell attacked them. Okay, so this time, flying out in the super sexy aggressor skin for the Cat, we're going to be doing something that is actually far more practical and very much by design. We've come across another group of Tu-95s, this time in a much closer formation. So close that the AN/AWG-9 radar is struggling to tell the aircraft apart. They're showing as a single or at most 2 contacts constantly merging and splitting with one another. Now the Tomcat is able to lock and fire on up to 6 targets simultaneously of course, but if it can't see the targets individually, well, it's kind of stuck. Or is it? Now, this kind of attack does currently require some knowledge of how the AIM-54 Phoenix is currently coded in DCS, and for the record, this will be changing in the future, but I'll explain that at the end. Now, the way the Phoenix in DCS currently works, as it was coded to only be used by AI, is that the missile will guide onto a target locked by the Tomcat, much like an AIM-7 Sparrow, until the missile reaches 15 kilometers. This is perfectly normal. At 15 kilometers, the missile automatically goes radar active and acquires the target it has been fired at, seeking it down and destroying it. However, if the target is destroyed, the missile will not go active. So what we're going to do is perform an attack targeting all of this group of Tu-95s while only locking one of them. This is all about timing. Remember before when I said it takes 3 seconds in normal SST modes between pulling the trigger and a Phoenix launch? Well, here we're adding a 5-second count between the launch and the next trigger pull, giving us a Phoenix release once every 8 seconds, or around about once every 8 seconds. The reason for this timing is so that just before the first Phoenix hits the locked target, the last Phoenix has crossed that 15 kilometer boundary and has gone active, while allowing the maximum space possible between each missile. Once the first target is taken down, that leaves 5 active radar AIM-54s already heading into the formation and gives them just enough space to acquire a new target each. Essentially, we're using the one target we can see as a guide to hit all 6 targets. Now once again, anytime you are dealing with an active radar guided missile, there is a chance that more than one missile could acquire the same target. In this particular case, that didn't happen, and I found over 20 runs that around 1 in 5 times I was able to hit all 6 targets, with around 3 out of 5 attacks taking out 4 or more aircraft, and again, around 1 in 5 taking out 3 or less. It's not a guaranteed way of taking out a group like this, but it is an option in the Tomcat's bag of tricks. Now I mentioned that the mechanics involved here will be changing. In real life, the AIM-54 doesn't go active at a set range automatically. Instead, the Tomcat's weapons control system sends a command via a missile data link, telling the AIM-54 to go active at around 16 seconds time to impact. Now that command is automatically sent providing the radar still has a track on the target. So what's different then? Well, when a formation of targets is this close together, the Tomcat's radar should automatically pick up a track on the next target in the formation when one is destroyed, as it can only see the formation as a single target. That means that not only should this attack still be possible when the Phoenix is updated to real-life functionality, but also that the timing of the missiles should no longer matter. Providing the formation is still close enough together to appear as a single target and the radar can still track it, the missile should receive their activation command regardless of if the first target you locked has been hit or not. It should actually make an attack like this easier than it currently is. Now, as far as I've been informed, this particular update to the way the Phoenix functions is unlikely to be in by the time the Phoenix enters early access and is available to all of you. It is instead one of the systems that will likely be updated during the early access period, and it actually serves as a very good example of the kind of things that aren't going to make the early access release that Heatblur is going to fix during that early access period. Anyways, time for the final fight. At the start of this video I showed you an unconventional use of the ACM modes that is entirely possible for you to do, but it would be pretty poor on my behalf to not show you how the ACM mode is intended to work. So, to finish up, we've got a nice 2-on-4 engagement versus a 4-ship of MiG-29s, that's 4 people per team, I think that's fairly fair, and we're using exactly the same loadout as in the previous engagements. 6 Phoenixes, 2 Sidewinders. I hope you enjoy.
Target, 12 miles. Fight, 12 o'clock. Fulcrum, fights on. Missile, 12 o'clock. Hot, break right. I lost lock. Spike, 10 o'clock. Fulcrum. Missile, 12 o'clock. Hot, break right. We have a bandit, MiG-29, 12 o'clock. 2 miles. 12 o'clock. Bogey, MiG-29, 1 o'clock. 3 miles. Flash, 6 o'clock low. Bandit, Fulcrum, 11 o'clock. 2 miles, 12 o'clock. close, flash, missile, 6 o'clock, hot, 6 o'clock, flash, 5 o'clock low, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, he's behind us, shake him! He is on our 6. 4 o'clock high. He's coming left. Missile. 6 o'clock. Hot. 6 o'clock. $12 o'clock. $12 o'clock high. 9 o'clock low. 12 o'clock low. We're on a 6. Closing. Missile missed. He's right in front of us. You're right behind him. Oh no, they got a friendly. Keep it up, we're on a 6. Bandit is going down.
So a little slow right there with the gun in the end. I wasn't fast enough to save my wingman, and I did fire off a bad Sidewinder that I should have known better than releasing. However, for the rest of it, 4 Phoenix missiles fired, 3 Phoenix missile kills. It's no AIM-120, but you can make it work in a pinch. Anyways, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching. As always, check the video description down below and in the comment section for links to my social media, my Twitch, my Discord, my Patreon if you'd like to help support the channel, along with my PC system specs. I've been getting a few questions about this recently. They're always at the bottom of the description. Anyways, ladies and gents, until next time, remember, click that like button if you did enjoy this video. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already and you would like to see more of my content. And until next time, fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.